So in this question, we're shown below is a 3D model of a handheld vacuum cleaner. This is where sometimes students make the mistake. They don't read the question carefully and they start drawing this out in 3D again. But if you read it, it says, in the space provided, draw a well-proportioned. So remember what we were talking about proportion. That's broke. That one there should end up nearly the same. This part here should end up the same length as this here. This here and this here should almost be the same length, okay? So it shouldn't have a wee small bit here and then a big massive bit here and an even bigger bit at the back, okay? It should all be well proportioned. So basically a third, kind of maybe a third there in the middle, all right? Freehand sketch, so no using any of your equipment, of an elevation. So looking in at A, so you're going to see this view here, this here, all right? So I'm going to draw it all nice and light. And then when you're happy with it, you can then go over it nice and heavy. All right? So about there and there. That's about a third of the whole thing. And then this comes back like this. And line it up a wee bit here to this. All right. So like I said, it should be a well proportioned. So things shouldn't be something shouldn't be massive. All right. Also, you're not asked to color it in or anything like that there. So don't be wasting any time putting any color into this here. All right. So in this question here, the drawing below shows the incomplete perspective drawing of the vacuum cleaner body. So this red part here. A 3D graphic is also shown. Complete the perspective drawing. Remember with these perspectives, everything is going back either to this vanishing point, back to this vanishing point. So VP1, VP2, or it's going to go straight up like that there. All right. So if we take this point here, let's say call it A. This part is already kind of drawn into it. That's going back to this vanishing point. This one here now has to go back to vanishing point 2. So you simply can draw this here, back like this. Now draw these all in nice and lightly, and then once you're kind of happy with the outline of it, you start drawing it heavy. This point here again, look at, is going to go back to this vanishing point. This top point here, going to go back to that vanishing point. That's pretty much it. And this one here has to come back. So here we have to continue it on. And that's going to give us this end point here. All right, by continuing that one there on out. And as I said, they're either going back to the vanishing point or straight up and down. You can use your sliding set squares to bring that down there now. That's giving us this line here. To find this distance here, okay, what you're going to have to do is this point here now is going to have to go back to this vanishing point. And maybe draw this in dash because it's kind of hidden in behind there. And then this point here has to go back to this vanishing point. And with the two of those cut, Might have to make this a bit longer. That's giving us the point in here at the back. And we can slide that, we can draw that line down there now, coming down from that point. And that's going to give us that distance there for that little line in there. Once you have that all drawn, get your HB pencil and go over the whole thing nice and heavy. Because again, you want all the outlines to be clearly visible and all the construction lines to be light. So there should be a clear distinction between these lines here, these light lines here, and these heavy darker lines, okay? So in this question here now, the logo of the handheld vacuum cleaner is shown below. It is based on a parabola. So remembering with our parabolas, we've got to identify the vertex, very important because these ones are going to go towards the vertex. We also have to identify the axis because these ones are going to go parallel to the axis. Quadrilaterals and circles. So here's your quadrilaterals in here. All right, and in here. Redraw the logo in the given rectangle ABCD. Color or shade the completed logo. What you can do is, you can see here you have to measure in 37 plus 7. It's going to give you a 44. You can measure in 44 here. Or you could join B to D, A to C to find that center point there and draw it down. But what I would like to see, if I was correcting this, I'd like to see this A to B bisected, okay? So get your compass. Put the metal part at B, put the metal part at A, swing 2 equal arcs. And that there will get you that line straight down. Now F, we have to identify is the vertex, okay, of this parabola. So we have to make sure we draw a line straight out from F. Again, keep all this nice and light, please. Now, be careful here. Sorry, just be careful here because CE is in slightly. So you're not actually going to bisect A to F. That would make the parabola go all the way out to there. Okay, so just be careful with that there now. So you've got to come in 7 here. All right, you've got to come in here 7 to kind of get this E point. And that is, it's FE you're going to bisect into 3 or 4 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Forget about everything beyond that there. You're going to join that 4th point. Back to E. You're going to go parallel from 3, 2, and 1. And these ones now, because they can't join back, the literally can't join back to the vertex. So these have got to go parallel to your axis. Again, keeping all these lines nice and light. Draw a line off E. Now E doesn't go all the way to the bottom either. It's up 30. So make sure and measure up 30 from the line DC. Draw that in heavy actually. Hit your compass from that point there. You're going to mark off 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything beyond that, forget about it. And remember, it's joining back to this point here. Now these have to join back to the vertex. All right, so, and then when 3 hits line 3, just there, that's a point. For 2, hits line 2, that's a point. And where 1 hits line 1, that's a point. Try and keep your hand inside the curve. Draw it in lightly first, then get your HB or heavier pencil. Keep your eye on the dot that you're going to, and your hand will bring you to it. And now, using pretty much axial symmetry, you're going to draw these points now straight across. Your axis being your line of symmetry. Get your compass now, put the middle part in here, measure out to here, and swing that round. Actually, bring this point around well. And here's your parabola drawn there. So along the center line now here, we've got to measure down 10 and draw a circle radius 10. We're going to simply measure down 10. Little crosshairs there on that center line. Get your compass, set it to 10. Right now. So you're going to measure down along that center line down 10. Draw that circle there. You can draw this line in heavy here. Draw this line in heavy here. Find these 2 points here. You've got to join A to C and B to D. Can I just get rid of stop for 1 second, because I know a heap of you are going to make kind of, or not do this properly and kind of try and guess it. Everyone looking up there just for 1 second. So what you're going to have to do is draw a line perpendicular to BD. Anywhere at all. I might just draw it out here just to make it easier to see. From B, now you're going to have to measure out 10. And you're going to draw a line parallel to BD through that point. And where that hits this bisector, this line coming straight up the middle, that there now is the center for that radius 10 circle. You'd want to have that there, a little bit of construction line in there for that. If you wanted to get technical with it, you're not asked to do this, but you can bring a line down there parallel, and there's your point of contact. You aren't asked to do that there, so I wouldn't bother. But that's how you do it if you were asked for it.